A good trainer is never going to hype up how bad a horse is. Hey bitch, and welcome back to another video of Let's Judge Horse Trainers. For those of you guys who don't know or are new to this very new series, this series is basically just me reacting to horse trainers online, giving you my take and my opinion, because we all know that horse trainers really are just a drop in the bucket on whether they are good or not. Unfortunately, the majority of horse trainers that you see, especially online, are pretty terrible, so that's the whole point of this series, is to dissect which trainers are good and which trainers are bad. Therefore, you know which ones to follow and replicate their methods. Now make sure to hit the subscribe button, you guys, and turn your notifications on, because every time I do one of these videos, I do a poll or a post on my community tab asking you who I should react to. And today we are reacting to Steve Young Horsemanship. I'm pretty excited about this one. Now, I'm going into this completely blind. I have no idea who Steve Young is. I've never seen any of his videos, although first impressions are always very important. And when I went on to his channel to choose a video to react to, I noticed that he's actually made several videos speaking out against animal abuse, especially horse abuse that happens in Spain, which is super important that other creators are speaking out about that as well, because horse abuse really is so prevalent all across the world, and more people really need to speak out against it. It's gotta stop. One other thing, we have to say a massive thank you to this video's sponsor. We love a good sponsor on this channel, and we love Dossier, which is the sponsor sponsoring today's video. I've worked with Dossier so many times. They have the most amazing luxury perfumes for so inexpensive. They have some of the most amazing scents available on the market. You can get these scents for as little as $29 a bottle. Dossier sells men, women, and unisex perfumes and colognes on their website. If you're wondering which perfume or scent would smell best on you, you can take their quiz on their website. It's super easy and super simple. Not to mention that they have plenty of other products, including diffusers, candles, really anything to make your life smell a little bit better. Dossier was founded out of a desire to make perfume fragrances accessible to absolutely everybody. They are 100% scent enthusiasts, and it became impossible for them to turn a blind eye to the price markups traditionally seen in the perfume scent industry. So it's time to say goodbye to feeling lost or left behind when it comes to experiencing premium fragrances, and welcome to the new way to shop. All of Dossier's scents are clean, ethically sourced, long-lasting, high-end, and most importantly, perfume that is within reach for everybody. Currently, one of my favorite scents is the Floral Rose scent. This is actually the scent that I wore on my wedding day, and it smells absolutely amazing. So you guys, if you would like to check out Dossier, you can click my link down below for 10% off your purchase. I'd love to see you guys over there. I absolutely love them. Like I said, every single one of my perfumes is from Dossier, and they've been an amazing sponsor for this channel. So I'd really appreciate it if you guys would support them, since they support me and these videos. But let's get into it. Usually we start off by reading the bios. However, Steve has it right. He did it right, you guys. His bio is literally one sentence. Helping owners help their horses.
I love it!
Steve did not even bother to put a period there. That's how little he cares. Honestly, I love people who just do sweet, simple bios, because that generally means that their training is probably going to be sweet and simple. Now, I know that's a bit of a logical leap, because it's not always the case. And another disclaimer, this is just one video. Obviously, I can't react to every single video that these trainers put out, so they could be better trainers than what is represented in the video that I watch. Now, Steve, posts extremely long videos. The majority of Steve's videos are over an hour long. The pros to posting extremely long videos are that you get out a lot of information to people, and people can actually thoroughly examine your content, understand how to replicate it themselves, and really see the full effect of your training, versus condensing that down into a 20-minute video that a lot of people are going to misconstrue, or maybe you cut out a lot of the bad parts of the training because you don't want people to see that, and then you're like, oh, poof, the horse just magically goes into a trailer now. How did that happen? So people like Steve, they get it right. It's a good thing that Steve's videos are really, really long, because it allows the viewer to really understand what he's doing and get the full picture. However, the only con is that for people like me who want to react to his videos, which I'm probably the only one, I'm not going to be able to sit down and show you guys the full video. So I am only going to show you segments of the video that I find to be the most important. However, I am going to sit down and watch the full thing. This is one of his most recent videos that is titled, "Why Won't This Horse Load Up?" Now, the reason I'm choosing this video is because I kind of have a feeling that I'm really gonna like this guy already out of the gate. However, I'm trying to be as unbiased as possible, and I am the most critical when I judge people who try to trailer horses, because as you guys know, Link is possibly one of the worst horses ever when it comes to trailering. So I have been through the woodworks. I have worked with hundreds of trainers regarding trailering, and I am very, very, very picky when it comes to trainers trailering horses, and if these methods are going to be good or bad or damaging, etc.
When you're this far away from home,
Got to get on with it.
we are lucky quite a lot with the weather.
We've got our coats, so we'll be all right.
So I'll do some voiceovers where I need to. Basically, it's howling the wind. No amount of equipment will stop the wind noise. But here, just before I'm about to start, I was warned that she'll cow kick. Well, she hadn't. I think that was the work in the stables that I did. And I'm just checking here that she'll stop. She'll give me some space there, which she did. I asked for a bit of feet forward. Had just to try there, a little bit of a disengagement. Yeah, she disengaged for me without cow kicking. That was good. She stopped. She backs up there. All that was built pretty much in the stables. Disengaged, not quite so good there when I'm on that side. Can you notice it wasn't? But there, I just left the situation as soon as she disengaged for me on that right-hand side. Now she's really giving me some space, guys. So important for me that she doesn't, if she didn't think my space was important, she could kind of really hurt me. And in some ways, she wouldn't even know she's done it, in a little bit of panic. When we're at the trailer, so that's important. So more of the same here, more disengaging, and straight away there she disengaged on the side. She wasn't really. Now I had to bump down on a little bit there because she kind of got stuck with her feet. Really important I can move her feet. Disengaged her again there. That was quite nice. Yes, quite nice. Keep going until she disengaged again. I walked away then. Stop, ask her feet to go forward. Yep, add a little step forward. That's fine. Yep, oh, it's looking much better. Feet forward again, to my left. Keep working with it. Yep, feet forward. Feet forward. It's kind of a walking lunge, really. Feet forward again. Yep, that was good. Let's see how it's going now. I did a little bit of working on backing up with a little bit of quality, because I knew I'd have to probably back her out of the box if I can get her in there without her rushing. So I was trying to get a nice cadence and speed rate of reinback. Now, attempts in the past had failed, sort of trying to pull her in or drive her in from behind, so I knew I had to change things a little here. I'm giving her a cue for feet forward. I'm starting to teach it here, that a cue where we use our legs to ask a horse to go forward, then that way it's not wasted at all. Then I tap with the boinging sticks, which don't cause pain. they just sort of boing on the side. I'm working with a cue now. I start to teach her a cue that when I tap in that position, the tapping will not go away. If you go backwards, it won't go away. It'll only go away if you take a step forward. There. You see that, guys? So I needed to build this in. So I got another way of trying to get her feet forward if we can get her on the ramp, you know, because it's almost impossible to get her on the ramp. So if I can get her on the ramp or going towards the ramp.
So this is super important. What he's doing, it might make it look like he's annoying the horse, but this is actually something that all trainers should do when they're analyzing a horse before they start training. A lot of people will exaggerate the problems to a trainer, or the horse is having problems because the person's not communicating something correctly to the horse. So when trainers show up, the first thing that they should do if they are a good trainer is assess the horse to see if the horse legitimately has problems in those areas, or to see how much training that the horse actually has. So what he's doing right now is he's trying to analyze the horse's behavior, mindset, which is super important because you need to know how much training a horse has before you start working with them. Because if a horse doesn't have any training at all, how could you expect them to know anything? That's why it's important to do this, because you don't want to set a horse up to fail. And I'm actually really glad that he goes over this in the beginning in pretty great detail, because a lot of people skip over this and they just expect that their horse should know how to go into a trailer. There's so many other elements behind the scenes that go into teaching a horse anything, and you can't teach a horse anything if they don't have a good foundation under them.
Slowed that up, really important. I was really glad it happened because it really gave me a chance to double down and say, no, you don't walk into me. And that's what she went to do then. She went to just experiment, and I was on it like Sonic. She said, no, not acceptable. To give me, there, she gave me space there to arrange herself around me. Now this side now, can you see, Tam, whether she's going to come forward? There, best one yet. Did you see what just happened? So here, guys, I'm doing the lead into drive-in exercise. It can have a real positive effect if you can get it done with some kind of quality. It's not an easy thing to do. She got a little bit bothered here because another horse turned up. So I kept diverting her attention to me, which worked out fine.
All of this is so important. I mean, if you watch right there where she walks into him and he corrects that, he doesn't move an inch, but he gets her to back up, which is also another thing that's really important. A lot of people will either back up or they freak out and they start violently beating the horse. I think it's so important to match a horse's energy and be done with it. It's okay to discipline your horse, you guys. That is completely okay. Horses discipline each other. That's fine. But there's a fine line between discipline and abuse. It's the same thing as having a kid. You don't just let your kid run rampant, right? You still have boundaries and discipline for your child in order for them to grow up and be a good kid and a good member of society. It's the same thing with horses. Horses like having boundaries. They like having rules to follow. That's something that they have to do when they're in a herd with other horses. They have to follow rules. They have to respect each other. They have to respect boundaries. You can't just let your horse turn into a spoiled brat, which is something that I see a lot of people go way too far with, where they just don't want to discipline their horse at all. Well, for your own safety reasons and for your horse's own safety reasons, you have to have boundaries and teach your horse to be respectful, but you don't go overboard. I think Steve is actually doing a really incredible job of showing people the right balance between being a good disciplinary figure for your horse while also not taking it too far.
Here, guys, for the first time now, I'm taking this horse to the trailer, to the lorry ramp, and I didn't want to use my boing stick straight away. I just wanted her to look in the lorry for quite a while, get comfortable at the bottom of the ramp, and maybe, I thought, get a foot on the ramp. That was my first port of call really before I'd start pressurising her with the boinging stick. So that's what I'm doing now for a while. Is just let her be comfortable here. Only leave her alone when she's looking in it. So when she considers other things, I just direct her head back to the inside the trailer, and here I just keep her feet moving left and right, almost annoying her, but not losing the fact of releasing for each step sidewards and any step forward. So you're kind of not wasting the time at the bottom of the... If the time is done correctly, you can achieve an awful lot. Now you've got to remember that this horse has pulled back with the lead rope a lot at the bottom of a ramp, so it kind of it's kind of lost its meaning a little bit. But I just keep on. There you go, guys. There, she said, no, I'm used to pulling back. And I said, well, the only release you're going to have is feet forward or to the side. Releasing for a side step, releasing for a forward step. And I just keep on being persistent here, rewarding her for every thought, if I can, of forward motion. There, right there. Did you see that there in slow motion there? Look, she actually touched the ramp there, and I recognised it. And I said, there you go. That's a big try. That was a big try for her, because honestly, guys, you'll see in a little while, she's absolutely petrified of this. Never been in there. She's 4 years old. Convinced she shouldn't. She's convinced she saves the day. She survives the day.
So a few things. I'm iffy on a couple things. First of all, I do want to say that I think this method is absolutely fine. Basically, what he's doing is a standard pressure and release method with a little bit of annoyance in there, because he's trying to kind of annoy the horse and let the horse know, hey, you're not going to really get a release unless you step side to side or you step forward onto the ramp. Now, here's the thing. This method works and is okay if you're a professional trainer. And the only reason I say that is because you have to be absolutely perfect with releasing pressure. It's very easy for horses to get frustrated and lose patience this way. And I wouldn't recommend doing this if you have a horse that has been abused in a trailer or has an extremely negative experience around a trailer. The better option would just be feed them on the ramp and then slowly move the food farther and farther in. Just let them get comfortable with it on their own. Or even just park your trailer out in a pasture for a few days and let your horses be around it and walk in it on their own if they really are fearful and had a very abusive experience with a trailer. But if your horse is just kind of not wanting to go in, has never really had a bad experience, they're just having a natural reaction to not wanting to go in, because horses are naturally claustrophobic, so it's totally normal for them to not want to go in. I want to emphasize that, because a lot of people think that their horse is being bad. It's completely natural for a horse to not want to go in a trailer, you guys. So this method only works with horses that haven't been abused and horses that are just kind of not wanting to do it. Again, it's very easy to frustrate a horse by using this method. You have to be on your game. You have to give release right at the right moments, so that way your horse understands and doesn't get too frustrated or confused. Again, I think he's doing a perfectly fine job of this, and I actually really like the fact that he's got treats, because I tell people all the time, treats don't make naughty horses. That's a total myth. So many people believe that, and it's not true. Horses are food-motivated animals just like dogs are, and it's totally okay to use treats. Don't push your training too far. You always want to understand when there is a limit.
So you can see, but I'm just so persistent here. Release again for a side step. Fuss her a lot when she makes the right decisions. There, she kind of thought about maybe putting a foot fully on and frightened herself with the thought. So it was important there. I make it a little bit uncomfortable for her as she's backing up. And then with no further ado, straight back to the bottom of the ramp, where she can start to relax in a second when she considers the lorry ramp. So just persistence. Right there you go, guys. She's put her foot, she experimented with her foot there, and all the pressure was released in her life right there. As soon as she puts her foot on, I take every bit of pressure off, both physical and mental, from me. And there, she's testing the ramp. There you go, look. Now I've completely backed off. So there, that's where it is, girl. That's where things will be better in your life from now on, with your feet on the ramp. And there, you can see the fear in her. She just jumped both on there. You see? I knew at that point somehow we were going to get to where we needed to go, but not sure how long it was going to take. Now here I take the opportunity to bring one of the licks we use out. So I grabbed it from inside, I got it ready. I know I need all the help I can get to make this such a nice place to be for this horse, because it's so deep, the need to not go in. So here, look, I just take as long. I'm having to split this up a little bit, guys. I'm showing everything you need to see, but it goes on for quite a long time. I was there, it would be too long for a video.
One thing I will say is he also mentioned it in the video. I know it seems like he's constantly adding pressure, but he actually went over this beforehand in the video, that the video goes on for a lot longer than just the hour that he uploaded, so he had to condense it down. But there are cuts throughout the points where the horse goes on the trailer, or between the times where he applies pressure. So I would assume that he's probably allowing her to stand on the trailer for a pretty significant amount of time before he continues to add pressure, which is also what he said earlier. So I do want to give him that credit. Normally I would, hate on trainers for constantly adding pressure and not just allowing a horse to chill and hang out on the trailer ramp. So I don't want people to think that he's just constantly pressuring the horse, because he is allowing for several minutes to go by throughout those before he applies more pressure.
So I took an opportunity there to take her away from there and then start doing some work. It kind of makes them realise even more, and the nicer place could be by or on the ramp. So I've took her away there and I've started disengaging her and backing her up. I might even, with some horses, lunge them for 10 minutes, get them nice and tired, and then make them rest by the ramp of the lorry or the trailer. Now I take her back here. I stop her again, look at her feet, back her up. She's really getting connected to me for her feet now.
This bit makes me laugh when they go stretch as much as they can. Don't they? I said this bit makes me laugh because they go and stretch, they leave the back legs where they are, but they'll tip.
So here she started to get a little bit agitated because she was in her mind thinking she might be considering going in, so she frightened herself, backed away, and that's fine. You've got to let these horses get out if they need to. But all that did for her, all that did was meant lots and lots of work outside, down at the bottom of the ramp, backing up there, left, right, back up again. Now go to my right. So it's all work. It's all hard for her to then suddenly back to the ramp, and now it all goes quiet. There you go, all nice and quiet. Just don't back off, because it doesn't do anything for you. Explaining, if you use lunge lines around a horse or try and force them in with brooms and things that people do, it's never a learnt behaviour. It's all done in bad taste, guys.
Good girl. Now she's got 3, I'm going to let her know about that. Let her know about that now.
She's almost got her back feet under her front feet. Good girl. What a big brave girl.
Look at that.
Such a big brave girl. Well done.
Okay. So I think he did a really good job here, and I'm usually very critical of people trailering horses. Again, I will say that this method isn't going to work for a horse that has experienced abuse. Also, one other huge thing that I love about this is I love that he doesn't try to hide any of his disciplinary methods, and he doesn't try to hide his repetitive training methods or how he gets the horse in the trailer, like having secretive angles, meaning that a lot of trainers will try to pull a horse inside a trailer by wrapping the lead rope around one of the metal bars and only show it from the side view, so the horse can't back out of the trailer. They're essentially forced to go in, and I like how he actually shows it from a rear view, that he's not pulling the horse in the trailer, that the horse is willingly going in, and that the horse can also back out if she wanted to. Another important thing is that he allows for an ample amount of time to pass when the horse is just hanging out inside the trailer before he applies more pressure, which is also important. Not to mention that he's rubbing the horse, letting the horse walk around inside the trailer. Another really important thing is just letting the horse get familiar with its surroundings. Lastly, I love the fact that he doesn't just stop once the horse was willing to go all the way in. I like the fact that he kept the momentum going and he kept having the horse go all the way in and out, because the more times the horse does it, the more comfortable she's going to get every time she goes inside. It's going to become a more repetitive action and it's going to become habitual. So a lot of trainers will just stop working with a horse once they get them to go into a trailer once. I think it's so important that he kept doing this with her once he realized that she was in the right mindset to continue the training, and once she really understood it and got comfortable with it. And as you can see, at multiple points throughout the video, he applies pressure, but it's never too much to where he doesn't push this horse overboard. That's something that's so important when you're analyzing trainers, is if you see trainers that really push a horse too far, where the horse is starting to experience some really negative psychological effects, which you can see come out in their training. They start getting really confused or combative, or they start panicking. A lot of trainers who are good can completely avoid these scenarios because they understand the horse's mindset. They understand when they're pushing a horse a little too far, when to give the proper releases and the proper cues to prevent the horse from getting confused or frustrated, which is something that Steve was really great about. There were multiple points where he was able to apply the right amount of pressure without confusing or frustrating this horse. So important when you're looking into good trainers, you guys. Don't just go to trainers that constantly make horses act out or get frustrated and they use that for clicks and views in a video. A good trainer is never going to hype up how bad a horse is. They're going to go into it by believing that it's not really the horse, it's the owners, or maybe the horse hasn't been adequately taught yet, which is exactly what I think Steve did. So honestly, I give Steve an A+. Also, he gets a little bit of a bonus, a little A++, because I have seen him speak out against horse abuse in a couple of his videos, which I didn't watch in entirety because I didn't want to have a biased viewpoint, but I think that is also very important. Now, again, this is just one video that I watched. He could have others that might be a little questionable. This is just my opinion on this specific video. So I would definitely recommend his channel to anybody who's looking to work with their horse. He's definitely a very good in-between. He's not too soft and he's not too hard. And I think that he definitely deserves a lot more credit than he gets because he only has like 50,000 subscribers. He should have definitely more than that, especially if Clinton Anderson's got like, God forbid, over 100K at this point. We need to be putting good trainers on a pedestal, okay? And that's what these videos are for. So thank you so much, Steve, for just being great. I really enjoyed watching your video. I hope people go and check you out. And yeah, thanks for being great with horses and also for speaking out about horse abuse. That's so important. More people need to do that, and I really appreciate it. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. Thank you again to Dossier for sponsoring me. You can click my link down below to check them out, but otherwise, I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!